Okay, we're starting on project number 11. I'm redoing this because discussions with the art teacher and things that we want done slightly differently than were in the earlier video. So to remind you of where I'm at, so I'm going to put this on the screen real fast. So we're right here. You can see we're on page number 48. And I'm going to scroll down a little ways here just so you can see what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be making this layout here. And note these are numbered 1, 2, 3. Then it skips the middle 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So that's what we're working on right now. The first thing we're going to do is make some guides. So it's very easy to get these very extremely organized. So I'm going to move this out of your way and then we'll start making those guides. Okay. Scrolling up if you're wondering what I'm doing on the other screen just to get back to the beginning. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is put in the guides. Now, the guides do not show up when you're printing or anything else. They only show up while we're doing this part. So come over here to guides. So I clicked on view, guides, came down here to add horizontal guide. Now, horizontal is side to side. Leave this one here sitting at 5 alone, okay? There's no real reason to mess with it. And we're going to take the top guide. Notice that when I'm on the guide in the right place, my cursor is going to turn into those two parallel lines and two arrows. When that happens, I'm going to press and hold the left mouse button down, and you see that number that just showed up. I want to go to 2.50. There we go. Now, this one here is actually going to be a lot easier because when we get it to the distance we want to go, be watching over here on the left. You see those blue lines that show up? And yeah, it is at 5, but note when those blue lines show up, that's telling us that we're now equidistant all the way through. And so that's all we really needed to do to make the guides. Now, the next thing we're going to do is change the background color. So I'm just going to go ahead and right click on the background. I'm going to come down to background. Now on this palette, okay, we want to use stick with a color scheme. We're not using the top row of blacks or the next row of solids, okay? We're using the ones down below that, the 6 below. And so what I want you to do for your background color is choose one of the light number 3s. I'm not really too concerned about which one you pick. You can see there's several there. What was that? That was red berry. This one is just red. This one I believe is orange. This is yellow, green, cyan, blue, purple, and magenta. So you note that I'm though over here on the light number 3. So I want you to choose something from the light number 3 category. And remember the color scheme that you're using because you're going to stick to that color scheme through the whole project. So I'm just going to come over here and select light orange number 3. Okay, great. That's done. The next thing we're going to do is make our first shape. You want to get this one right because we're not actually going to be making very many more shapes. So the first thing I'm going to do is come over here to the shape tool, which is the box and the circle over the box. Click on it, come to shapes, and I'm going to choose rounded rectangle. It's under shapes, and then it's right over here. It's the second one on the top. I'll click on that. Now, I'm not going to go all the way to the edge, and I hope you can see that I'm not actually going all the way to the edge, okay? It just it's not a good look to have stuff right on the edges. It just looks like it got cut off. Now, I'm pressing and holding the left mouse button down. And again, I'm not going all the way to the guides either. So I'm right about there, and you can see the shape I just made. Okay, great. Now, we're going to increase the thickness of the border here by clicking on this line right here that says border weight. Now, if you have clicked somewhere else, you won't see those tools. So if you're saying where are those tools, click on your shape and they'll be there. Okay, border weight for border color. What I'm going to do now is go all the way down here. So whatever color scheme you chose, you're now going to choose dark number 3 for your border, okay? Now we're going to use the paint bucket tool, fill color. And now is where you're going to come over here, and now you're going to choose light number 1. No matter which one you chose, you're going to choose light number 1. There we go. And the reason we did that, you see that we've got a very consistent looking color scheme going on here. It's just looks better. And it comes down to art stuff. So I'm going to go ahead, art stuff, love that. Okay, go ahead and click on it again. I'm going to copy it, Control C. I'm going to paste it, Control V. Now, my cursor is this four-pointed cross. When it is, I press and hold the left mouse button down. I'm going to drag that guy over to here, and you notice the red line going through the middle when I'm at the same distance. So you notice that red line, that's telling me that this one is in the same location as this one up and down. Now, if you're a little bit off and you need to move it a little, what I'm doing here is pressing the arrow keys, okay? Remember, we don't want it quite touching the edges as we go around. Okay, that's good. Now Control V again. We're going to do the next box. This one's going here in the middle. See that red line that showed up going right through the middle of my document? And, come on, that red line there. So you see how those two red lines showed up? That's telling me that this thing is perfectly centered in my document. Done. Control V. Let's grab this one. I'm pulling it down to here. Again, I don't want it on touching the base. And there we are. See that red line? That's telling me that I'm centered. So now these are all centered and the same size. So it looks much better organized. Now I'm going to Control V. Now the next one we're going to do is the smaller boxes that are out here. The way I'm going to do that, I'm going to bring this one in here. Move over here to the side. Now it's basically underneath of this one here. Then I'm going to go to the sizing handle here on the right side. I'm going to press and hold the left mouse button down on that sizing handle. Okay, this tells me that I'm to the edge of those. I want to go just a tiny bit more past that red line. There we go, just like that. So the red line showed up on that one, and I went just a tiny bit further. Control C, Control V. Now I've got boxes. So now I'm going to just bring that up. Red line, release. Control V, bring it down to here. Red line, release. Control V, bring it over to here. For whatever reason, the red lines aren't showing up on this one, but that's okay. I can pretty well see where it goes. And again, if I'm a little bit off, I just use the arrow keys to nudge it a little. Good. So now you can see, and I just clicked over here to deselect so I can show you what we're looking at. Now you can see that we have all of these. We have relatively equal spacing between everything, and it all looks nicely lined up. And this just comes out to how it appears. And your teachers, it's not that teachers grade on appearance, but a better looking document is better received. Okay, the next thing we're going to be doing is adding our text, just to let you know. So I'm going to come to this very first one here, and I'm going to put in a text box. There's a reason we're using text boxes, and I'll show you this when we get closer to the end. Okay, so I'm going to click on text box, and then come to about here, and I'm just going to make a nice big rectangle inside of this rectangle, okay? And now I'm going to type in record expenses. And I'll hit enter. Next, come over here because I don't really feel like copying it, like doing everything. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the finance behind this one. I'm just going through how to get the assignment done. Saving your receipts so you have something to look at, Control C. Coming back over here, Control V. Great, but it's ugly, isn't it? So what I'm going to do now is bring my cursor in here, and you can see where my cursor is. I'm going to press and hold the left mouse button down and just select everything in there real quick. Now I'm going to come to Format, and I'm going to select Clear Formatting. So that got rid of all of the formatting, all of it. So kind of ugly. I'm going to come over here and click on this here. Arial's just an ugly font. Use a font that looks better, okay? That is a little bit of personal selection, and I realize that, but almost anything looks better than Arial, almost. So I'm going to go for just Brief Serif, okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and select the words record expenses. I did that by triple clicking on them. I could have pressed and drug over them, and I will make those words bold. Okay, good. Now the next one, I'm going to go ahead and make another text box right here. Again, same basic idea. And you saw the red line show up telling me it was lined up. I don't know if you saw it or not. If it doesn't, just try to make sure you get them in the same place. Think ahead. And enter. Coming over here, try to forecast. Remember, a forecast is not a guess from 1 to 100. It's an informed estimate. Like, my cell phone bill is usually between 38 and 45, but I have seen it as high as 50 on one case. So I budget for 50. And if it comes in less than 50, which it certainly will, then I've got a little bit more breathing room. Okay, Control C. Back over here, Control V. Now this time we're going to do something different than all the stuff in format, okay? I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click over here somewhere that it is right. I'm going to click on something that is formatted correctly. I'm going to click on the Format Painter. Now I'm just going to bring that paint roller over here until I see the cursor instead of the arrow. I want the cursor instead of the arrow. I'm going to press and hold the left mouse button down and just drag it over everything, just like that. Click 3 times on Think Ahead, select Bold. Great. Okay, use technology. So I'm going to come over here, text tool, roughly the same location. Go ahead and draw a nice little box right there. Good. Type in use technology. Good. Enter. Come back over here. Use a budgeting app. Good idea. There are a lot of free budgeting apps. Control C. What I would recommend with Control V, particularly if the free ones, is make sure that it's something that you can export the data with, because you don't want to lose all of your records when you change phones, okay? So now I'm going to come up here and click on something that's right. Click on the paint roller, come back down here, and just drag that over all of that. And I'll triple click on the words use technology and bold. Good. Okay, next one. So I come over here, again, the text box tool. Good. And go ahead and type in make a list. Okay, enter. Now, making a list is super important when you go shopping, helps you avoid impulse buys. The other thing that it's really good for, and this probably sounds a little bit goofy, but it works. Control V. Make a list of the things you actually want to buy. You know, the things that matter to you. Maybe it's an improved Xbox, whatever. The things you want to get, assuming you have a bit of your own money. The reason is, when those impulse buys, I want to get this. Then think about your list. How is that going to impact your being able to get the thing you really want? Okay, so I'm going to come over here and click somewhere over here, paint roller, and just drag that over all that stuff. Good. I'll triple click on the words make a list, bold. Remember, you can just press and drag across those two if that isn't working, if the triple click isn't working for you. Okay, so now I got to get this out of my way. So I'm going to come over here to my text box tool again. I think you're seeing how easy this is. And I'm going to come over here, and it looks like it says build a reserve fund. And over here, have a reserve fund or special account in which to save money for unexpected costs. And somehow either hit enter between these. Actually, I did it on purpose because I want to show you guys what to do when you copy stuff in and it comes in with those weird spaces and stuff. Okay, Control C, Control V. Now, you see that sort of weird space right there where it's got an extra line which looks ugly. I'm going to click right before the word unexpected, backspace, spacebar, fixed. Okay. Frequently, backspace, spacebar will fix that kind of stuff. Just come up here and click on something, paint roller, drag it across. Good. Triple click on build a reserve fund and bold. Good. Okay. Next one is right going in this box right here. And the recommendation isn't really a bad recommendation at all. Pay with cash. And so I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to copy that in. Whenever possible, pay with cash. So you can see the dollars going out. Control C. Making yourself more aware, Control V, of what you're spending. Click on something that is right. Click on paint roller. Drag it over. Good. Now I'm just going to triple click on the words pay with cash and bold. Okay. And the last one here, and certainly not last in importance, is pay down your debts. We are going to be doing a unit on interest and how the just paying back slowly impacts you later on. But let's put in pay down your debts. Enter. And we're going to come over here. And don't just spend the excess cash. Put it to good use by paying down your debt, Control C, so that you have to pay the people you're borrowing from less, Control V. Okay, click on something that is right. Click on Painter. Drag it over. Triple click on the words pay down your debts, bold. Okay, the only thing that leaves me is the stuff that goes in the center right here. So I'm going to click in the center here. Now, this one I'm not putting in a text box because I know I'm not putting any graphics in here. I want to show you the importance of the text boxes if you're going to be putting in some graphics in just a moment. So here in this one, I do want to select center align and center. Good. Now let's click in this box and it's 4, enter, tracking your budget. B-U-D-G-E-T. Okay.
Domingo Solis, if you're in the building, your ride is.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and select these right here. I'm going to go ahead because I was using Breeze Serif. And I'm just going to click on the plus sign until it's as big as it can be without looking stupid. Remember, what you're trying to avoid here, you just don't want it touching the edges. Because when your text or image are touching the edges, it looks like they got cut off, is what it looks like. It looks like bad planning. Okay, now we're going to add a couple of images. So I clicked over here so that nothing would be selected. You can do this inside of these boxes. What will happen is if I do it this way, it'll add a border to the image, and I don't want a border, so I purposely clicked over here. Now, insert, image, and let's come down here to search the web, and I'm going to search on save money. Save money. Great. And what are something that looks like save money to me? Yeah, I like Piggy. Okay, so I'm going with Piggy. Insert. Now, remember when you're resizing an image to go to the corner sizing handles. Note when it goes to that diagonal. The thing is that if you go to these, you wind up altering the ratio or this compared to this. So we want to go to the corners, and I'm holding the left mouse button down, and you can see I'm making that a lot smaller. Now I'm just going to drag it up to about here. Okay, now you see the obvious problem. It's in front of my text. This is why we used text boxes. Because now I'm going to come over here and click on my text. I'm going to right click on my text. And I'm going to change the order, bring to front. And now the text is in front of it. The way this is working, and we're going to be doing a lot with layers when we get to Photoshop, so I'm just sort of setting you up for it, is that the layer that we've actually typed our words on is transparent, okay? Imagine you were writing your words on a clear piece of plastic. Now, when we put the picture on top of that piece of plastic, of course, it covered the letters. So what we did is we slid the picture underneath of that layer, that piece of plastic. And so now you can see the words are in front of or on top of the layer. Great. So I'm going to come over here, click over here somewhere again, and I'll do one more. I'll just call it pay with cash. So again, insert, image, search the web, and pay with cash. See if that gets me any good pictures. Sure it does. Okay, good. Insert. Again, I'm going to go to a corner, drag that down, bring it over here to pay with cash. And again, it's in the way, not a big deal. Come over here, click on the text, right click on the text, order, and bring to front. And now you can see the text is over the image, okay? So that's basically it. You are done. Go ahead and turn it in.